call, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike Money's killers might even make the even news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? Welcome on in. Here we go. It's Last Call, Pub Sports Radio, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. East. You already know it's Last Call. This is where we go to get that green. Appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight here. We're going to have ourselves a banger of a show. It's March Madness. Let's go. Lots of fun here shooting around the college arenas. Lots of afternoon games here. This is this 3 days of March are super critical. I know the big tournament starts, and that's going to be a lot of fun as well. But this conference tournament, everybody's playing. That gives us opportunities for mismatches, big plus money dogs to come through and try to make a fight in these first and second rounds. We're going to try to do our best to capture all of that. Of course, we've got the NBA rolling tonight. We got our boy LJ there, LJ from H-Town. He checked in there. I know he's getting out late, so he's doing his best to rock with us here. He's going to pop in, and hopefully we can make the Wi-Fi connection work for our guy LJ tonight, because it's Wednesday, and we missed him last week. He was down there at that Rockets-Clippers game. He deserves to have himself a blast, and we're going to bring him back tonight. But, of course, we start to show off with the NHL, and it's been so nice. I promised you guys some record updates here, not just a block record, right? We can see what's going on as a whole. We can see the macro level and all these numbers and all these units, but we got to drill it down. We got to see what's happening individually by sport. And now is the time to attack. We've only got a couple months left in the NHL. A month. How about that? A month. And then they start the playoffs. We've got ourselves about maybe a month and a half, 2 months until the NBA pops into the playoffs. And of course, we've only got a couple weeks left here. Let's call it 3. We'll round it down to 3, maybe 3.5 for the college basketball setup there. So we got to go out there. We got to get that cash. We got to be positive across the board, across the threshold as we close out these seasons and move forward. And I'm excited about this here. I'm excited to share the records with you guys. I'm excited to talk about tonight's card. Not so excited to recap last night, because shout out to our guy, Billy Briz. He was dialed in on that Sixers and OKC spots, and I just didn't listen. And sometimes our ears get in the way here of what's really important about cashing these tickets. So you guys know the deal here. You're getting out of work. You're getting home. You're trying to figure out what's for dinner. Maybe you're trying to figure out what you're going to have for a cocktail. Let us help you figure out what it is you're going to bet on for the spread of games tonight. And we've got none other than our guy, LJ from H-Town, to get it done for us. Of course, we're going to rock and roll. Before we get moving, if we need to go through and keep it transparent, we got to go through that recap from last night. But first and foremost, you guys hit that thumbs up button. If you like the content, you enjoy what we're doing here, you're making cash with the plays we're sharing with you guys, throw that thumbs up out there and help us crack the code. That is this 6 p.m. time slot, 6 p.m. Eastern. The last spot to get all your news, all your information, your updates, your cash flow, your trends, everything you need to go out to the winner and be a window and be a winner tonight. Hit that thumbs up, show the support. In fact, 3 things we ask you to do. Thumbs up, of course, paramount to every show here on Pub Sports Radio. Second, grab yourselves a pen and paper. You're going to want to write down everything that's being shared tonight, not just here from the stream and the panel, but everybody in the chat. Oh, so sharp, our chat. Sharper by the day. Love you guys coming in. Love what we're building here, man. Getting back and forth, you guys. Even when we're non-cycle here, even before 6 p.m. afternoon action, what do you guys, you're asking, what do you think about this? I like that. It's great. I enjoy every minute of it. If I didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't do it. And it's all about getting that cash. Of course, last but not least, we want you guys to throw your plays in the chat. We want to highlight you guys as much as everything else that we have to share. We're all working with a common goal. Let's get cash out of those bookies' pockets. Let's put it in our own. And I enjoy it. I love every second of this thing. I love coming in. It makes me want to work harder when I see you guys cashing your best bets out there. It makes me want to go back, dig in deep, and find them winners to give you guys as well. Let's see what we can do on tonight's slate before we launch. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I see our first guy in the chat, Joe T, my boy, says, best bet. He likes that DePaul Villanova over 136 in college hoops. There's our guy, the Food Down Bets. Luke Evangelistic goal. Cashville money line. Let's get this money. Sup, buddy? It's funny. I like that Evangelista spot. He has been firing as well for Nashville. We will talk about that game there. We've got a 4-game NHL slate action, and 3 of the 4, Nashville will be one of them we'll talk about out there. Jay Stone 9 says, I swear to God, Mike, if you come in and tell me you're on Washington, I'm going to shit the bed. We're not on Washington, but we're going to talk about that game tonight. Of course, my guy, Jay Stone 9. It was a difficult spot last night. You know, we embraced the suck last night, and some of it did suck, but that's okay. Let's talk about that in a minute. Wine Time Sports in the house. My brother from another mother. Talk Sports with JT, says Mikey, 2-0 today. Get your cash, Talk Sports with JT. I'm glad to hear that. Jay Stone says Peasy kills it. You know, if you don't know, he's on the intro. He writes all the intros for us here at Pub Sports. None better, though. He broke the mold when he wrote the intro for Last Call. My guy, Jay Peasy. BT says family, and there's our guy, Justin McKelvey with the stacks. POD, our guy, says Kansas +3 is his best bet today. Kansas +3 out there in college hoops. Winner Circle says, hey, yo, Pelicans first quarter money line for our guy, Winner Circle. We'll be talking about that game in the NBA. And there's our guy, Maurice Buckner, says yesterday's bets just wasn't it. It wasn't. You know, there were some good spots, but there were more bad spots than good spots. And we got to nullify that here. We're not going to win every day, but we got to make sure that we keep firing and stay in the game, right? We got to bullets to fire the next time around. There's our guy, T on the 1s and 2s there, keeping it tight and right for everybody. Says, oh, yeah, pubbers. Smash the like button for our guy, Pimp and LJ here. Tonight's going to be the night. Juggler 23 says, wise guy, overnight plays now 99 and 68. Little 0-2 spot yesterday. It happens. Yesterday was a tough card all around. Juggler 23 likes that Cincy money line tonight. This game loses, I'll have to sell my pedigree dogs and tell my crying kids that Mike stole. Oh, man. I don't want those fucking dogs. No disrespect. Oops. I'm before the 8-minute mark, but I'm happy not to have any dogs rolling around this piece. So that's okay, though, Juggler 23. We'll get that cash, my guy. Jay Stone says NHL, Mike, and BT. Dallas Stars meltdown smoked my parlay yesterday. 2 meltdowns. You know, that Penguins game, that entire third period of that Penguins game was downright disrespectful. They played the entire third period in the Ottawa zone. Just a disgrace in what happened there, only to play with our emotions and move that thing into overtime and end up losing that game. JPZ says Oilers money line rounds out his 3-leg parlay. Maybe I'll jump on something else. No NBA, though. No betting allowed for JPZ when it comes to the NBA. Subhuman Gaucho. There's my guy, Ryan Butel. Says, you are on the TV in Jeff's dining room. Can we get a shout out? Shout out to my guy, Jeff. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to the crew out there. What do you boys not go back to work today? Let's go. Let's get it, my guys. Let's get that cash tonight. Fletcher Barry says, what's good, Mikey? Decent day yesterday. Positivity in the chat for my guy, grinding daily, getting these plays out. We appreciate that. Let's roll. Brian Watson says, never too late for winners and Subhuman Gaucho. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but rather like the following same game parlay. The Avs team total under 3.5. The Canucks team total under 3.5, and it's +3. 174. We're going to talk about those games. Our guy, Jay Stone, Zach Kramer, and Butel in the chat. What's up, boys? It's great to see you. I just felt like I saw you guys there. A couple cocktails for lunch. Joey Kryptonite says, yo, coins in the house. Let's have a Wednesday. St. John's giving Colorado State. San Jose State giving Colorado State. There's a lot of S's, a lot of J's, a lot of S's, a lot of D's. It's tough to keep it all straight when we're moving at a brisk pace. We got to keep a brisk pace tonight. You guys know we got our boy there ready to rock with us in the NBA. We can't keep him waiting there. He's doing his best to tap in and give us those winners. We don't want to keep my nights too long. Ricky Levine says, what's cracking, Pimp Slap? Let's get some pucking money. Hit the like button out there. Shout out to you, Ricky Levine. Appreciate you. Joey Kryptonite likes that Avs Canucks under 6.5. We'll talk about that. T. Gray says, any looks on Penn State -6. Michigan sucks, T. Gray. That's my look on that game there. Michigan is terrible. I want to take that Penn State spot. The line is moving aggressively, though, in their direction. So you better take it now before it goes out the window. Swizz in the house as we be pubbing. Cashed his Wake Forest earlier. Let's cash tonight. Topset says, what's up, boys? Londo's in the house. And Topset says, spent all my winnings. Time to re-up. Well, let's do that. You guys know the deal. First and foremost, we got to recap yesterday. Wasn't our glorious day of ever, but it is a day nonetheless. We had a great day Monday, less than stellar Tuesday. I should have listened to Billy Briz. I'm pissed at myself for this NBA. Gave a couple spots back here. Best news though going here. Recap the records piece by piece here. We've got each of the sports tonight. We'll talk about those numbers. And we're just on the fringe of profitability in college basketball. NBA is profitable in the NHL. I don't even need to tell you. You already know that's our best spot out there. Let's go. Let's talk about this yesterday, though. Not our finest hour in the NHL. Not our finest hour across the board. It was a 5 and 8 day. Sucks. Glad I added that Buffalo spot, though. The Sabres picked up that win. Easy peasy. Easy win out there for Buffalo Sabres. The under 6.5, though, disgusting. Just disgusting. The Pittsburgh money line, disgusting. I don't even know. Ottawa off that San Jose loss out there on the West Coast. Came back home. They got it done right. I'll tell you what, maybe a mental note after a team stinks and they're playing a stink team and they let that other stink team pull off the victory. Maybe when they go back home, you got to play on them. I'll keep my eyes on it for all of us, but Pittsburgh was a loss. The Chicago Blackhawks, easy winner out there. Nice little goalie battle in that game as well. The Dallas Stars, though, disrespectful. There's a loss as well. But Calgary, over 6.5, easy winner for us. So all in all in the NHL, that's how we'll say the NHL went. College basketball, we went 1-1. We got that Montana State over 134. Easy casher in that Montana State game. Big championship in the Big Sky tonight. Montana versus Montana State. Maybe the dog comes through. I hope so at plus 6.5. Nicholls State, though, the under 138.5 did not get the job done. Disgusting. I think they went up to like 155, 160 in that game. So once I did over 138, I turned it off. That's the thing about an over. It's or an under rather. It's under till it's over, and then you turn that shit off and you move on. Then the NBA was just bad last night. The NBA was a landmine. 76ers should have listened to Billy L. OKC should have listened to Billy L. Fucking Rockets though, -3 in this Houston Rockets spot. They win the game by 2. They were down that whole first half. They came back storming. They were up 5, 6, 7 points. They took the L. The Utah Jazz L plus 6.5. We did win that Kings game. I should have listened to myself at the end of the night though. When we talked about that, what was that late night spot there? I liked it. Minnesota Timberwolves. Shout out to our guy, Bo Jackson. I know he dropped in the chat last night. He was Timberwolves money line. He didn't care about those injury reports. And I don't either. I'm disappointed that I listened to that myself there. My inner voice telling me, listen, wait for the injuries. And that's how you go 5 and 8. But positive news here. We're still 50 units on the show. We're going to make that cash back from last night. And it starts tonight. Let's dig into the sport here. If you guys are just getting in, smash that thumbs up. A couple things we'll look at across the board. We'll look at cash flow. We'll talk about, the bets themselves, the percentage of bets. That's the soup. That's everything. That's parlays. That's teasers. That's going to be small dollar plays, $5, $10 bets, everything that goes into bets. Then we'll look at cash. We'll look at how the big bettors are smacking these games, what they have to say about these spots as well. And then we will try to put it all together with a couple of trends, angles, player props, and everything else that we need to get that cash. Shout out our guy, Nasty Nate, a.k.a. Mr. Trifecta. How about the Knicks and Celtics smashing? Of course, Mr. Trifecta, Nasty Nate. I don't know if I saw that Celtics second quarter shamrock, though. Hopefully we'll see that again soon. Let's dive in here. We've got ourselves a big card. We've got our guy all ready to roll. We got to keep a brisk pace and get it moving. And we start with the NHL. Lace the skates up. It's time to take to the ice to get it done. Pull one up says, we have any good angles, edges for Georgetown versus Providence tonight? It's not a game I'm tackling here. I talked about it earlier today with Jimmy the Bag. But the under is a definite spot that I liked in that game. You can go back and listen to our guy, Jimmy the Bag, clipping up that NCAA. Hear all those cards that we talked about earlier today. We got 3 freshies going into this game tonight. But before we get to college, we've got to start in the NHL. And let's do just that. Let's get the graphics up. Let's get it rolling. We're going to start. I told you guys we've got a 4-game NHL card tonight. No play, just off the hop here. No play in that 7:30 p.m. Kings and Blues game for me. Not anything I'm interested in getting involved with there. I would probably lean to the Blues ultimately as a home dog in that spot there. You got 85% of the bets and 96% of the cash on the road Kings. Not interested. No, thank you. No dice. But let's talk about the first game we do have here, 7:30 Eastern. We're going to start with the Nashville Predators, a.k.a. Cashville, going on out to Winnipeg, playing them Winnipeg Jets. Going to be a little bit of an early start in the Central Division. And look, we'll talk about this here. I'm not sure if we'll see it across the screen or not. You can see it scrolling across the bottom. NHL's been our moneymaker here. We're 190 and 150 over the course of the show. We're up 45.5 units in the NHL. It's definitely leaps and bounds above everything else. And hopefully we're converting some of you guys into NHL fans with this cash here. And it's because we find some of these right spots to peg away on these plus money spots, like this Nashville-Winnipeg spot. We've got Saros starting in goal there, the number one guy in Nashville at 27, 21, and 4. We've got Connor Hellebuck, 30, 14, and 3 on the Winnipeg side. We know Connor Hellebuck. I talked about him yesterday, a Vezina Trophy guy out there. SpongeBob, Sergei Bobrovsky's the other guy that's going to be competing for the best goaltender in the NHL this year. But Hellebuck's certainly in his own right. Saros has a 2.85 goals against average and 90.7% save percentage. Hellebuck's got the 2.3 with a 92.2% save percentage. Huge divisional matchup for these two playoff-bound contenders right now. And the thing is, despite how well Hellebuck's been playing in his Vezina Trophy accolades that he's accumulated this season, he's been shitting the bed his last 5 of his 6 games. He's let up 3 or more goals in 5 of 6. He does have a shutout, though, 3-0 against the Washington Capitals in that non-game where he got blown up 3 or more times. So that being said, you look on the other side of things, the Nashville Predators, a.k.a. Cashville, they've got points in their last 12. You guys know, you've heard me before with the show, love to tack on to these teams that just keep finding a way to be gritty, getting that cash. And Nashville, 10-0-2 in their last 12 games, just finding a way to tack on dubs. You look at this spot here, Nashville is coming off a loss, little overtime loss for Nashville. Nobody bounces back better in the NHL than the Nashville Predators. On the road after a loss, they're 11-4 on the season. We're going to open up tonight's card. We're going to take a whack with this Nashville Predators team here. Interesting enough, we don't talk a lot about cash flow, but we have 24% of the bets on Nashville. We have 96% of the cash on the on the Predators money line spot there. Bigger bets like this road dog. I think it's a great bounce back spot. We're opening up tonight's card with the Nashville Predators. We're going to take them at plus 135. Let me just double check the line. Let's make sure it's still the best number that's out there. And I see a plus 134 now. So moving in the right direction here. We've got 135 opened up about an hour before the show. We're down to 134s, 130s, 125s now out there. So we're going to take this Nashville Predator spot at plus 134 to open the card up tonight. Onward and upward. Let's keep it rolling here. Brisk pace so we can get our boy LJ in here to talk about the NBA. Smoke and Mirrors is Mikey. I fucking made it, bro. I've arrived. Smoke and Mirrors, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m., my guy. We appreciate you dropping in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button as well. And Coin says, yeah, 24% of the tickets, 93% of the cash on Nashville. It doesn't surprise me, though, Coin. You know, we're not going to see a lot of the sharper bettors betting away on minus lines here. They want to get a shot at the plus. And I think they know the secret is out. Nashville is one of the best rebound teams off a loss on the road in the NHL. Joey Kryptonite likes that Nashville spot. Let's roll on and keep this thing moving here. The train's moving down the tracks. Game number 2 we're going to talk about, 10 p.m. We've got the Washington Capitals and the Edmonton Oilers. What a game this should shape up to be. Who would have thought a month ago that Washington would be stringing together W's in the manner they have? They're going to start with Darcy Kemper at 13, 12, and 3. And what's interesting is 13, 12, and 3, he's still mediocre when it comes to his numbers, though. 3.15 goals against average and an 89.3% save percentage. Step above AHL. We talked about those numbers last night with that Calgary, Colorado game, and sure enough, it came through exactly as we scripted. But then we look on the other side, and we've got Skinner going for the Edmonton Oilers at 29, 13, and 3. He's sporting a 2.58 goals against average and a 90.7% save percentage. I love rested goaltenders here. We do have Kemper coming into this game rested. Hasn't played since February 26th, and it was a loss. It was a 3-0 loss for this guy here. Kemper, though, I'm sorry, that was the last game, the 3-0 loss for the Jets that last game. Can't read my own notes here. That's what happens with afternoon cocktails. Kemper, though, is on a 2-game winning streak. That's a big difference from a 3-0 loss that last spot against the Jets. He is sporting a winning streak. 18 of 21 saves out there, 6-3 win against the Ottawa Senators. And Skinner's going to be rested as well. This is only one start for this guy in his last 3 games. This will be a second start now in 4 games. So he's been going out there 2 or less goals in 5 straight games for Skinner. And they're 4-0-1 over that stretch. I talked about his numbers with 90.7% save percentage. He's sporting a 94.7% save percentage in his last 5 games. He's playing above the back of his baseball card. And that's so important when we're looking at a spot like we have tonight. You've got a couple of things rolling here. First of all, one of the best teams in the under category right now, surprise, surprise, since they fired their coach, Edmonton Oilers since November 24th are 15-28 to the under. Then we've got a nice little spot here. When you previously played either Columbus, the Capitals, or the Jets, you're 11-41 to the under. It's the margin that's most impressive there. It's 1.25 goals to the under in those spots, with the average number being 6.5. We've got a spot here tonight with 6.5, and it's now -118 is the best number I saw. Let me just double check here. 10 p.m. Capitals and the Edmonton Oilers, and the 6.5 is at -118. There's still -120s, 122s, 125s now. It's moving on up, but we can get ourselves locked in on a -118. All those nickels add up over the course of the long haul to be positive across the sport. I mentioned that spot there with Edmonton and these unders here. The average scoring that we're seeing is 2.6 to 2.8. If you look at these Edmonton games, their last 5 specifically, 4-0 win against Pittsburgh, 3-2 loss against Buffalo, 4-2 loss against Columbus, 2-1 loss against Boston. It was March 3rd that they beat this Pittsburgh Penguins team we just talked about 6-1. So we've got a nice little under train running. Then on the other side of things, we have the Washington Capitals with 3 straight unders as well. Give me the JPZ special. We're going to take the Edmonton Oilers under 6.5 to get this thing rolling. Let's get it done. Jay Stone, though, likes that Edmonton first period, Edmonton regulation +170, a little double chance spot there. PZ does like the Oilers, though, and I can't be mad at that spot there. I like a stab here with the Oilers, but I'm going to go with the under. I think the under is the stronger play for my card tonight. RVD 420 in the house. What's up, my guy? It's great to see you. Darius Moore says, let's get this paper. And he likes Quinnipiac. Darius Moore's on Quinnipiac in college hoops tonight. It'll be a little interesting MEAC game that they battle down on. One more game in the NHL, and then we will roll on up to college basketball and get this show rolling. And we're going to go back to this Colorado team. They treated us so nicely last night. That over 6.5 cashed in the second period, and it just kept going. So it was a great, nice little no-sweat victory. And I'll tell you, I was very close to going the other way with this game. I was very, very close to an under in this spot. But ultimately, you guys have been on the show long enough to know we love to fade teams on the second leg of the back-to-back. The unrested spot for a favorite when they're up to a -200 is 472 and 218. Just a tremendous edge for a Vancouver team that started the season off so red hot. They had some power play challenges out there. Their special teams unit, definitely the code got cracked. And a lot of teams have figured out how to neutralize that thing. Basically, you just run an extra guy up high, kind of null and voiding the odd man rush opportunity out there and preventing that breakout opportunity. And that's easy enough to shut them boys down. But in this game here, we've got Georgiev going at 33, 15, and 3. He's got a 285 goals against average and a 90.1% save percentage. Almost identical numbers. And this is a backup in DeSmith on the other side. Casey DeSmith, 8, 4, and 5. He's got a 285 goals against average and an 89.8% save percentage. Big news, though. Factor Demko, undisclosed injury, left the game 2 games ago, I believe, with an undisclosed injury going on right now. We look at DeSmith, rested, of course, 1-0 in his last 2 games out there. He came in relief. He went 1-0, 27 of 28 saves in his last game out there. So despite being a backup, we've got Casey DeSmith rolling hard. And essentially is a coin flip number between these 2 goaltenders when you look at their spots. We're going to go to the unrested advantage opportunity again, 472 and 218. The Vancouver Canucks at a -115, 58% of the bets and 65% of the cash on this Vancouver side of things. And the numbers moving. Went from a coin flip. Both teams opened up the day at -110. We've now got -115s for Vancouver. We've got +102s on the Colorado side. And we know our girl Mel came in yesterday. She was talking all about that sickness running through that Colorado locker room. Got to be mindful of that. We got to keep our eyes on what's going on there. They scored a ton of goals last night. There's a sickness running through the locker room. I think this is a good opportunity to take these Canucks. They bounce back tremendously. They also do happen to play to an over pretty significantly when it comes off an under game out there. But hey, we can't all agree. Jay Stone 9 says DeSmith will likely struggle. I don't think so. I think it's a good spot for Vancouver on their home ice. Colorado had to travel off that big it's the blow your load special out there. They went out there, they scored a shitload of goals last night, and we see teams struggle off of that spot as well. So we've got no rest, the blow your load special, and a strong DeSmith battling equal numbers as Georgiev here. Give me the Vancouver Canucks at minus 115. And let's roll on. Let's go to college basketball here. Got to keep this brisk pace. Don't want to keep my guy waiting too long. Let's see if we can get this done. Don't want to spare the content, but we do want to make sure that we get to you guys so that we can break down this huge NBA card we have tonight. Let's roll on and let's move forward to college basketball. Look, across all sports, across all of last call, I'm disappointed in this record. It's 123 and 113, but we're down 1.3 units on the season in college basketball. Doesn't help to go 1-1 last night. That could have definitely tapped into that thing and been down just under that unit. But that means we're going to dig hard. We've only got a couple of weeks left to make it happen in college basketball. And it's all about transparency, right? We can't just throw these plays out there and not give you guys some type of a recap. The macro level is great and all, but we've got enough detail. We've got enough data in these college games to talk about where we're winning, where we're losing, and why we're not successful. But we're going to open this card up tonight, and we are going to talk about this NC State Syracuse game here. The old team down the road, down the thruway, the Syracuse Orange going against the NC State Wolfpack. Some would say, what's wrong with the Wolfpack? I would say plenty. In fact, I think their ACC days are done. Tonight, we've got this line opens up. Syracuse was a dog, a plus 1.5 point dog, 80% of the bets, 79% of the cash, and Syracuse is now a favorite. We got a little flipperoo here. They went from the dog to the favorite spot. The total, though, frozen line alert, 152s, sticking at 152s, 81% of the bets and 83% of the cash. Look, one team owns another team in this spot. And before I even get into that, let me start by saying this. Syracuse, a perpetual bubble team. I don't think you'll ever see them lead the ACC, but they're always in the category for last team out there or first team in. And I think they're very much alive. We'll see what happens in this BC game tonight. I think the BC game definitely will have implications on what Syracuse does. BC's out unless they go out there and handle Clemson and keep some style points in their back pocket. They can't get routed. They need to go out there. It's a 7.5 point spread. They need to win that game outright, in my opinion, for BC to be rolling. But they shit the bed. We do have Syracuse ready to roll. 7 straight wins against NC State for this Syracuse Orange. They're 7-0-1 against the spread in conference tournament play. That number goes back to 2018. Big numbers out there. And I think these teams match up pretty competitively. Offensive efficiency for NC State, 76th in the league. That whole college basketball association. Syracuse, 79th. They're both averaging around 10 points of margin victory per game. And I think this is a great coin flip spot here. I'm rolling right into this thing on the money line. We also have the top scorer, DJ Horn, questionable for NC State. I haven't seen a final update on that guy or not, but in or out, I don't give a shit. The first meeting ended, Syracuse wins 77-65. The second meeting, 87-83 on the road just a couple of weeks ago here. I think the Orange are rolling. It's their time of year. Some teams are ready for conference tournaments, and Syracuse is one of those teams. Let's open this card up with the Syracuse minus 120. Jay Stone says, love it, Mike. You help keep me on the straight and narrow. Brian Smith is on the Cuse minus 120 out there. And let's keep it rolling. Jay Peasy says, Colorado State, got it done. Shout out to you guys in that Colorado State spot. Brian Watson says, Maryland over 125. Anyone on that? Thanks. Earlier today, I talked about the under in that game. I think Rutgers and Maryland, those two teams have played combined. Both of their last 2 games they played 110 apiece this season. So you got 2 teams with a 125.5 stretched that way for a reason. But I would lean to the under in that game for you out there, my guy. Let's talk about this next game. Let's roll on to the SEC. We've got Missouri and we've got Georgia. Shout out to my guy, Justin McKelvey out there. He knows how I feel about these Georgia schools, but the Bulldogs, baby, we got this game 9:30 Eastern. Missouri taking on this Georgia team. Reverse line movement here. -3 is where it opened. It's down to 2.5s, and it's dropping. You might even be able to catch a 2 by the time this game pops off. 79% of the bets, 96% of the cash on Georgia. It's dropped a half a point, and it's minus 108 now. So that line should continue to drop, in my opinion, but the total's dropping as well. Now, Action is not doing their part. They have shit the bed when it comes to giving us percentage of bets and percentage of money here as the tournament evolves. It has opened, however, at 148. It's down to 147. So we have a point drop. We don't have any idea what's going on with the bets and the cash, but they are moving this thing down. You guys know my feeling. I love correlating the favorite to the unders here. And why not? I mean, look at this Missouri team. They're 0-18 in the conference this year. Have not won a conference game. In fact, they're 0-19 in their last 19 conference games out there. So this team's terrible. You look back at what happened the last time out there. They did play once this season. Georgia did beat them 75-68. And Georgia likes to run pace. Georgia's not afraid to go out there. They're averaging 79 points a game. They're shooting at 43% from the field. And they're definitely efficient and effective when it comes to their offense. You know, they keep high pressure on the defense as well. They force teams outside the perimeter, taking ugly shots out there. I just don't see how you get there any other way but this Georgia team here to get things rolling. You look at some of these recent opponents that Georgia's had as well. They played Auburn. It was a 92-78 loss. They were 15.5-point dogs, so they did cover that spread. They did beat Mississippi 69-66 in the favorite role. Texas A&M, they lost 70-56 in the dog roll. But it's the favorite spot when they're marked as the favorite that they go out there and get it done. 67-66, 5.5 points as a dog to LSU. And, you know, they can battle with the best of them, but Missouri's one of the worst of them. I'm taking this Georgia spot here. Let me just line shop this number right quick and see what we've got. 2.5 minus 108s over there on DraftKings. Like I said, I would suspect this line drops a little bit more as we get closer to game time. I'm going to lock in 2.5, but you can catch that too, or even get that thing down, you know, even further from a money line perspective. Right now, this money line's sitting at minus 142s, minus 145s, minus 148s. That thing might drop down to minus 130 by the time game time pops off there. And if it does, by all means, fire away. I'm going to take the 2.5, though. I don't think this is a bad spot for this Georgia team. I think they're ready to roll. Real Stoney says, Mike M with the daily. Think about this, MF stats. Appreciate you, Real Stoney. Let's go. He's on Hyman to score a goal tonight simply because he seems to be extremely immune to going 3 back-to-back without a goal. Just something I noticed today. Let's go. Shout out to you, Barney. No, not heavy. This is a couple lunchtime pops, Barney. A couple shots for lunchtime there. Palm Boats in the houses. What's the Dabby Cab waffle play of the day? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I hear him talk, but it sounds like the teacher from Charlie Brown when he speaks. You know, shout out to my guy, Dabby Cab. All I hear is, no, I'm just kidding. I know he was rocking with Texas, I believe, today, but I didn't see his, in a matter of fact, I shouldn't say that because I don't know what his overall numbers were, but you will see him tonight. Billy Briz and I all rocking around, all about the hoops. Going to start at 7:30 tonight, so we do have to keep this thing rolling. Let's talk about this last game in college basketball here. Let's move on. It's 11:30. It's the late night special. You guys already know what we like to do. Shine your light on me. Let's go. It's Abilene and Stephen fucking Austin, SFA, Stephen F. Austin out there. This line opened at +3. They're not giving us a ton of money bet stats here as well. We've got threes that have moved to 3.5. We do see 72% of the bets on Abilene Christian. And I think it's right cause here. This line has opened at 141.5. 67% of the bets and 50% of the cash on the over, yet it has fallen now 3.5 points. That's kind of a pretty significant movement. You look back, though, at what's going on with these two teams. Bottom line for me, too many points, wrong team favored. I get it. You know, you look at these teams and kind of how they stack up. Stephen F. Austin, 17-14. Abilene Christians, 15-16. You know, you've got Stephen F. Austin beating Utah Tech, 84-71, and Southern Utah. But those are home games. On the road, they've struggled. Grand Canyon torched their asses 80-58. Cal Baptist stinks anyways. They won that game 62-60. And then they go out there 71-62 as well. We did have an Abilene Christian team. They did us a favor by losing that last game because prior to that, they beat up Seattle. They beat up Utah Tech on the road. They beat up Southern Utah on the road. And they took down that Grand Canyon team as a +9 dog, 79-73. We cashed on Grand Canyon. I forgot what day it was. I think maybe it was Saturday. -7 with Grand Canyon. They went out there and they beat them boys up by over double digits in that spot. There was a tremendous victory for Grand Canyon. But I think Abilene Christian is a very much a live dog in the spot here. The first round of conference play for these boys, and I expect them to go on there and be triumphant. Again, the cash flow where it is. Abilene's won 7 of its last 8 games. And I just think this is a good team in a great spot right now. Back time, these two teams just played. It was a 63-62 road win for Abilene Christian here. Like I said, the road, they like to play out there and get it done. And they played like shit that game. They still came up with the win when they played the Stephen F. Austin team. But they didn't shoot well. They got out-rebounded 34-23. And they kind of held their own, I guess, from the turnover battle. They scored 21 points on 21 turnovers. At the end of the day, for me, I'm taking these points here. Not mad at anybody that wants to jump in on this money line either. 3.5 in my back pocket's all good. It's 11:30. So as the night progresses, we will see where we're at. But +140s out there on the money line for this Abilene Christian team. Give me the 3.5 and let's keep it rolling real. Stoney says, I love Abby with the points. And then he says, just got home from work. It was one of those days. I have a few parlays open from earlier, but I haven't got any capping done. What do we have, gang? Let's go give our guy Nunya the goods out there. JPZ says Montana should beat Montana State. They should, but it's the Big Sky Championship, JPZ. Anything can happen. Nunya says he missed out on Quinnipiac. George Wood in the house there says that's 8.5 on, is that New Mexico he's talking about? Yeah, New Mexico first half, 8.5. That's where it is there. I'm reading from the bottom up, so forgive me. Darius Moore says, what a start for Maryland. Hopefully that game stays under. Let's transition to the big boys, though. We got the high tops out. We're ready to go to the association. And why wouldn't we bring on Wednesday's last call resident expert? He arrived on slabs. We finally know what that means, and he's our guy here. LJ from H-Town. H-Town's finest, LJ. Let's go, my God. How you doing?
What's going on, Mike? How we doing, man? Living life, trying to get this money, ready to cap this NBA with you on this Wednesday afternoon. So let's get these people some money.
Let's do just that. I know you're just on the way home from work, so we appreciate you making the time to stop and give us the goods, my guy. We're looking forward to hearing what you have for us tonight in the NBA. We have a nice slate, too, as well here. We'll kind of bang through this thing. I've got a few plays that I lined out there. I'll tell you my NBA record here. I was surprised. If you would ask me overall between the three, NBA, college, and NHL, I would have definitely said NHL was kicking ass. But I would have said I was getting my ass kicked in the NBA. It's 211 and 202 plus 7.6 units. So we want to step forward here. Last night was not my finest hour, LJ. I need you to help me get the goods and get the double digits here in the NBA. Let's kick off with this first game. 7 p.m. Eastern start. We've got a couple of 7 p.m. games. We'll talk about each of them quickly here. We've got the Raptors and the Pistons. Toronto opens up as a 1.5-point dog. 85% of the bets on the Pistons, and it's moved to 3.5. The total, however, 232.5. Frozen line. 15% of the bets, but 99% of the cash on the over in this game. As much as I say it's a frozen line, LJ, I think that makes sense. You got all the cash pouring in on the under from the public, and you got the bigger bettors rocking this over here. It seems to me the bigger bettors feel this is an over spot, but the books are happy with where their action is. They feel like they're pretty well balanced. So that being said, LJ, talk to us about this Raptors-Pistons game. What do we have? Are we getting paid in this game, or are we moving on?
No, I got 2 spots in this game. I see how the Sharps are on the over because Toronto tends to trend to the over on the road, but this is a different Toronto team. They're missing 2 of the best players in that lineup, and I just believe they're tanking right now. They're not invested in winning games right now, and they're going against a team that's been red hot, especially at home. Detroit, 10-4 against the spread, last 14 at home. So they've been playing well. And interesting note, I heard that today is 313 day in Detroit. That's their area code. So they celebrate this the last couple of years. So I think Detroit is going to be rocking in that arena. But I'm not taking the side. I'm going to take the total under. I see all the Sharps are on the over. I'm taking the under simply because Detroit is 6-0 to the under as a favorite. They haven't lost in that situation, so I'm going to continue to keep riding this under. And I love the fact that everybody's on the over because I don't like taking bets where everybody's on the same side. We know how that goes, so I'm confident that this stays under. I just don't think Toronto can score enough considering how wounded they are on their roster. I think quickly is questionable as well. So if he doesn't play, they're really going to have trouble scoring. So I'm on the under in the game, 232 and a half. And I'm also going to jump on Jalen Duren over 12 and a half rebounds, minus 114, simply because he's averaging 12 rebounds on the year. And the last five centers that's played Toronto is averaging 14 rebounds a game. He's also had 17 rebounds the last game he played the Toronto Raptors. So Jalen Durham should be in a great rebounding spot right now. I don't think Toronto can attack the rim, and I believe they're going to be missing a lot of shots. So hopefully Jalen Durham could be under the paint in the basket, grab those rebounds, and let's see if he can catch that 13 rebounds. So I'm on his 12 and a half rebounds, minus 114, and I'm on the total under 232 and a half.
Now I'm not going to bury my head in the sand here. I'm going to own it, but I am on this Toronto side of things. 313 day be Dan. I never heard about that until about 6 hours ago. So for me, I went to Toronto, though. The Pistons in this spot, 0-14 against the spread, 0-15 overall, by the way, going back to December of 2019, when they're off a win of 15 or more points, and they're not a 7 or greater point dog. So in this favorite role, it very much fits that criteria. Now, can they go out there and win the game and get it done by 1? Yeah, probably. Yeah, 2, I'm good with that as well. You look back here, and Toronto's definitely been struggling. I don't like the injury factors they've got going on here, but this number just seems suspiciously low for a shitbag Toronto team for me. So I love the looks, though. I love the under. I was thinking about that myself. Like you said, you got kind of that reverse situation, or you've got the bigger cash pouring in. Bigger bettors, that's the $10,000 guy that walks up to the counter with a backpack and they call the manager over and they're like, hey, this guy wants to put the money on the over. And they're like, okay, sure. And they don't adjust the line at all. So I think you're in the right direction with that under. Like the Duren 12 and a half rebound spot there, but I'm going to jump on Toronto. I hate to do it and be turning into the storm with this one, but I'm going to be confident with this Toronto spot. Good out them boys for 3-1-3 day. They can still win the game, but give me Toronto plus 3.5. Let's roll on, LJ. We got the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic in this next game here. Opened at -7, down to -6. 86% of the bets. No idea about the cash, though. We have 13,000 tickets on this thing. Lots of big money, or lots of big bets coming in on the Magic. The total, however, is dropping. 206.5 down to 205. 84% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the over in this game. And yet here we are with these spots. So Joseph Alvarado says, Chicago Joe in the house wants to know what website do you get your trends and stats from? Look, Joe, I'm not a paid sponsor for these guys. So until they want to pony up some cash, they can get fucked. But you can reach out to me on DM. I'll tell you all about what I got for these splits, and happy to go one-on-one with you and talk a little bit about that. Anybody can reach out to me anytime on X. Guys, I already know to follow me at pimp/POD, and we can get it done. But LJ, let's talk about this Magic game here and the Nets. The Magic back-to-back losses. They lost at the New York Knickerbockers. They did lose to the Indiana Pacers at home a couple of days back. They've been kind of sitting on it and stewing. And the Nets did pick up a big game on the road against Cleveland, but a bunch of losses before that. What's your strategy in this game?
I have a heavy lean to Orlando, but I just couldn't get to the window. They are in a great spot, 7-3 against the spread, last 10 at home, 13-3 against the spread as a home favorite. So they play well in this spot, but I don't know how the Nets going to respond, man. They could be a feisty team. I know that they've had some issues in their lineup as well, but Cam Thomas is back in that lineup, and he's their leading scorer. So if he gets hot, the Nets can stick with any team, and I just have to see Orlando keep that record at home. I know the Nets are not a good team. I know Orlando is trending, 21-9 against the spread at home. That's a great number, but the number's low. It's too high for me. -7, I can't lay 7 with Orlando. If it was shorter, maybe 4, couple possessions, I may be more comfortable, but the 7 is giving me hesitation because they can win the game by 6. And the Nets cover that spread by 1 point. So for that reason, I have a heavy lean to Orlando, but I stayed off.
Yeah, I feel you there. A couple numbers for you guys here. The Nets 1-10 against the spread, off a win as a dog. But it's tight. The margin in this thing here is 10 points. 119 to 109 is the average we're seeing in those spots. The Magic 21-3 against the spread when they're going against the team they didn't lose to by more than 10 points the previous game. The margin in that one's 6. It's typically we're seeing 118 to 106. So It's a tight game. I just, when what we've heard before, LJ, we talk about this all the time. When you got these teams laying 6.5s and 7s, they got to win this thing by 10. And I just feel like that's kind of a little bit of a steep number for this Orlando Magic team that's been inconsistent at best. Plus, we've got reverse line movement here. So all things have to check the box for me. This does not check that box. I'm going to move on to this next game as well. So glad to hear we are in alignment. Let's talk about the 7:30 spot. We do have a couple of 7:30 games going on. The Bulls and the Pacers, the first one here that we're rocking with, Chi-Town and the Pacers. This line opened at 3.5. 64% of the bets, 90% of the cash on the Bulls. That +5 now, which is crazy. We've got this total open at 233.5 down to 228.5. So 5-point drop with 65% of the bets and 54% of the cash on the under. A 5-point move to the under, LJ. What are we going to see from this game here? We've got the Pacers. We know they got them boys back. They're starting to figure it out. They got back-to-back wins on the road as well. Orlando 111-97. OKC on the road 121-111. And the Bulls off of back-to-back losses. Just finished a huge road trip, though, and always the spot to fade a team on a long road trips that first game back. Do you buy into that magic, or what are you thinking about this game here with the Chicago Bulls and Indiana Pacers?
Yeah, I jumped on the Pacers minus the 3.5. I took it early simply because they're number one in NBA, 10-2 against the spread versus their division. So they played well in this spot. They're also averaging 128 points their last 7 division games. So that team total is looking tasty too. But I'm just going to stick to the spread. I believe they will cover it. They've been playing well. Defense has picked up as well. That's why I believe their totals have been going under as of late, because I really believe they're locking down, trying to play some defense. And they're in the standings far as they're right behind Orlando, and they're only 2 games behind New York in that 3rd spot. Cleveland's in the 3rd spot with 10, and then New York is 13. Indiana's 14.5. So if they could get a couple of games and these teams, Orlando and New York, can slip up, Indiana can move up in these standings. And I believe that that's what they're eyeing. They got Pasiako for a reason. They didn't get him just to rent him, and not use him. He's been productive in that lineup. So he gives them extra points and he can crash the board. So in this situation, I'm going to take the Pacers. I think the Bulls are going to be outmatched tonight, even though, I've been trending to the Bulls on the road. They play better on the road than they do at home, but they're running into their division, and Indiana's playing well right now. So I'm just going to trust that they cover that spread. And I also was looking at Halliburton's assists, simply because the Bulls have allowed the last 6 point guards to average 10 assists. But they got it at 11.5. So he may get 11 and miss about a hook. So I shied away from it. I really wanted to take it, but I'm just going to stick to the Pacers minus 3.5, because I do believe they'll take care of business coming off that great win last night on the road versus OKC.
My goodness, I hope I don't have a repeat situation as last night here, because I did go the other side of this. Now, there's a little bit of margin in here for us, because this is a +5 spot that we see right now. But, this was a great opportunity. The traditional fade the home team on the back-to-back. This is after a high score spot. The fade is 57-21. It's 9-1 in its last 10. I jumped in on these Bulls here. 4.5s, now 5s. And the 5s aren't even juiced, suggesting we might even see a 5.5 as this thing gets rolling. So there's a little window for us both to cash. That magic number is going to be 4, LJ. Hopefully it's not bigger than 4, and we can both get this cash, and we can text each other and talk about how we were both dialed in with the spot. So let's roll onward here. We've got Denver Nuggets 7:30 start on the road out there in South Beach in Miami. You guys know it's hot down there. Things are going to be popping off after the game, but as far as the game itself, it opens at -2.5. Up to 4s now. 53% of the bets and 87% of the cash all over this Denver Nuggets team here. And the total, open at 215.5, has moved up to 218s with 69% of the bets. No visibility in the cash, though. We've got, again, kind of flying blind, 16,686 tickets in the sample on this game. And this is a game I didn't have any action on. I'll tell you the spot that I was looking high to here, LJ, was, Joker. And I like this rebound spot in this game, just because on the other side of things, he's got Bam Adebayo, who's just a little guy when he stands up next to this 7-foot monster. So it's a tree versus a shrub, and he's got to go out there and get this thing done. But ultimately for me, I passed on this game. But how about you? Are you looking at any action in this Denver and Miami spot?
Oh yeah, I'm all in this game. Simply because I believe that Denver is rolling right now. They're playing very, very good basketball, and I believe they're trying to get a higher seed, two, possibly one. They're trying to move up in this Western Conference. So I'm going to take a shot. Now, this is how I'm going to play it. I like Miami early just because of how they played the last game versus Denver. I believe that they're going to want to get a rematch, especially at home. So I'm going to take Miami plus the two first half just because I believe they'll keep it close. And the fact that in the second quarter on the road, Denver is one of the worst teams simply because Jokic goes to the bench and gets his rest. He has nobody behind him that can keep that production coming off that bench. So Denver tends to, even if they win the first quarter, they tend to shy from that second quarter and let these teams come back towards the halftime. So I'm going to take a shot on Miami to cover the spread in the first half, but then I'm going to turn around and take Denver minus the 3.5 full game just because of Miami trends to 10 low at home against the spread, 4-10 against the spread in their last 14 games at home. And like I said, Denver tends to pick it up after halftime. They love making adjustments. So I believe that they can adjust to this game, keep Miami at bay until the fourth quarter come where they can run away with it. Now, 3.5 is pretty low. That's only 2 possessions. So they can win the game by 4 and cover this spread. So I believe they can do that. So I'm going to take Miami early first half plus the 2. I'm going to take Denver full game minus 3.5. And I love your Jokic prop with the rebounds because I believe he's averaging 12 rebounds on the road. Let me get my notes. He's averaging 12.5 rebounds on the road. So I do believe he'll get that, but I'm going to take the PRA over 46.5 minus 115 simply because he's hit this number 7 out of his last 9 games. So I believe instead of just trying to get the points, the rebounds, and assists, trying to target one stat, let's just take the overall number because I believe that Denver's going to come to play tonight. It's a nationally televised game. Denver's rolling right now. So why not take the best player that they have to cover this spread? So I'm on Jokic's PRA over 46.5. I'm on Denver minus 3.5 full game, but I'm going to take Miami plus the 2 first half to keep it close.
What was the juice that you had for that PRA spot?
Minus 115.
Nice. Right in the realm of get some of that, my guy. I like that spot there. I was just kind of looking here. I don't know if I'll be able to navigate to it pretty quickly here, but I was thinking about what's the double chance pay on that? Where if you took Miami to win the first half and Denver to win the game, forego the spread. I wonder what that's going to pay out there. I'll kind of try to search around with this as we keep rolling here, but that might be an interesting little spot as well. If you like it going that direction there, the 2 points, do you think from this perspective, do you think Miami can win the first half or do you think they just keep it tight like a draw or they're down by 1?
I believe they can win the first half. Like I said, they're very good in the first quarter, first half at home for the most part. But like I said, they tend to digress when teams make adjustments in the second half. So if they're feeling it, if they're hot, Butler, Rozier, they're hitting their shots, man, they can definitely win this first half. But like I said, Denver coming out of that second half, man, they love making adjustments and putting it on these teams. So I believe Denver will cover the spread. But yeah, I think Miami can keep the close first half, possibly winning.
I'll have to try to scroll through this. A lot of different spots here, a lot of different player projects. I got to dial into that and see what that looks like. But that might make my radar there. I like that you're willing to go kind of both sides of the coin in this thing here, expecting the game flow to be a Denver spot in the second half. We know that they've been down pretty ugly in some spots there, and then they've come back and they've gotten the job done. So low number for them certainly supports that opportunity as well. Like the look, LJ. Love the player prop as well with Joker out there. I might have to jump in there and try to figure out a way I'm going to get involved in this one there. That double spot, though, might be a good spot. I like going with that kind of both sides of the coin there. Let's keep rolling. 8 p.m. We've got Charlotte and Memphis, guys. If you're just dropping in here, hanging out with us, guys, smash that thumbs up button. Show us the love, show the support. Our guy LJ is making it happen off-site, trying to give you guys his best plays tonight. So get that thumbs up out there and show the appreciation. Look, Hornets and Memphis. LJ and I had a chance to talk about this game before the pop here, and there's no play for either of us. I will read the splits for you guys. It's open at -2. Depending on where you look at, it was Charlotte -2. There's -1.5s, but there's also -2.5s out there. So you got a line shop depending on the spot you want to be involved with. 78% of the bets and 69% of the cash on the Charlotte Hornets. Interesting because there's really not a ton of movement there. That half a point, so be it. But Grizzlies are playing red hot right now, and that's hard to believe with a B squad. But 205.5 is the total. 44% of the bets and 67% of the cash. The line's dropped 3 points to 202.5. So some squirrely line movement in there. The money line has dropped from minus 130 to minus 120, but it's also gone up from plus 110 to plus 124 on this Grizz game. Ultimately, no play. LJ and I are both on the pass in this game. We'd love to hear what you guys have in the chat for that. There we go. Juggler23. I love the chat, man. You guys do a great job of helping us figure this stuff out as we're rolling. Look at this, LJ. The Heat to win the first half, the Nuggets to win the full game, the double chances plus 575.
Ooh, juicy. Take it. I like it. Yes, why not?
I'm gonna get back in there and have to sprinkle on that as well. That's
yeah.
I love this thing, and I think it's a great opportunity. So shout out to you, Juggler23. We appreciate you, my guy, giving us them looks and trying to help us figure this cash flow situation out. Let's go for 8 o'clock, though. We do have a spot here, 8 p.m. We're rocking with this Cleveland Cavaliers, New Orleans Pelicans spot. The line opened at 7.5. It's down to 5.5. 2 points of movement, 70% of the bets and 60% of the cash on the Pelicans. It's dropped 2 points. 215.5 is the total. It's up to 218s. We have 80% of the cash on the over in this game. And I don't know that we need to belabor this one entirely too much here, but for me, this was a spot where I went back to Old Faithful. Old Faithful for me is this New Orleans Pelicans first half at home. It's been a tremendous casher. I see a 2.5 out there at minus 122. And then I see the threes at minus 110s. I'm going to take the 3 at minus 110. Not concerned about the hook in this game. Worst case, it's going to end up being a push for me. But New Orleans has been silently attacking everybody. They got themselves a nice little 4-game win streak. They just went 3 games in a row on the road. They took down Toronto. They smashed Toronto 139-98. They did beat Philly. They didn't cover, but they pushed. It was 103-95. And then they handled Atlanta in their barn at 116-103. Cavs are injured, man. They're a mash unit. They got back-to-back losses. This is their first road trip as well after a 3-game homestand. So give me the Pelicans here in the first half, minus 3. Not the sexiest of all plays out there. I'm not involved with the player props or anything else. I just want this Pelican spot for me in the first half. You go down the lineup here for injuries in the Cavaliers. Tristan Thompson's out. He's got that suspension rolling. Donovan Mitchell still questionable with that knee injury. Ty Jerome, Dean Wade, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, all out of this game as well. And I think it's just going to be too much for the Cleveland Cavaliers to overcome. Any last-minute thoughts on this game, LJ?
Yeah, I like your first half play. The Pelicans 19-9 against the spread first half at home, so they play well in this spot. But the fact that Donovan Mitchell's questionable, I don't know if he's going to come back this game. So for that reason, plus it's an East-West game, and you know how I feel about cross conferences playing. You know, Pelicans are coming back home off a road trip. Cavs going on the road, coming off a home trip. So I got hesitation on it, Mike. You know, I wanted to take the Pelicans, but also I'm waiting for the Pelicans to lose because when they lose, they cover that spread the next game. You know, so I'd rather have that situation better comfortably than to have this one because I don't know if Donovan Mitchell's going to play. If I knew he wasn't going to play, I would be all on the Pelicans. But the fact that he's questionable, he may get ruled in 30 minutes before tip-off, and he could go off for 30 and crush the Pelicans, you know what I'm saying, and shock the world and Cavs cover the spread, possibly win the game. Who knows? But I'm waiting for the Pelicans to lose before I jump back on them. So for that reason, hard pass in this game. But I like your first half play for sure. I like it.
Yeah, the spread, the reverse movement on the spread, you know, over the full game, it just tells me, you know, I've talked about it before. The Cavs have been a team that doesn't matter what they've got from an injury perspective. They still battle hard. Is that going to ring true every single game? Probably not. And I kind of figured this is a tough spot for them. But give me the first half. Pelicans back at home, feeling good. Slept on their own beds probably last night. Home cooking as well. Everything should be roses there, at least for the first half. We'll see when they battle coming into that second half. But let's roll onward here, guys. We've got 3 more NBA games. We'll put a bow on the show and get everybody on their way to get that cash. 8:30 p.m. here. We got a big spot down there in Texas. Golden State Warriors rolling into town. And we've got the Dallas Mavericks on the other side. We've got reverse line movement. No, we don't. Sorry, my bad. Plus 8.5. Down to 7s now. 71% of the bets and 87% of the cash. Like the road team here in Golden State. The total has dropped, though. We've got 84% of the bets on the under, and it's dropped 3.5 points now to 233 from 236.5, LJ. Look, your hometown, everything's cooking up down there. And well, not your hometown, but Texas is your spot. We know Curry, the ankle factor, but they've kind of shown that, hey, their last game out there from a Golden State perspective, they played them Spurs. They took them down 112-102 just 2 days ago. Short trip. They're still in the state of Texas. We got Dallas Mavericks coming back home after 3 straight wins, back-to-back road wins out there. They took down Detroit. They hammered on both these teams, Detroit and Chicago. Does the hammer streak continue? What's going on with this Golden State game out there?
Yeah, Golden State is good on the road against the spread, man. I believe they're the number 1 team right behind Dallas. Right in front of Dallas. They are 21-9 against the spread on the road. Now, they don't have Steph Curry in this lineup, but I believe the fact that how horrible Dallas plays at home, they don't cover spreads, and they really don't play defense for the most part. They're trying to outscore you most of the game. I believe Golden State can stay in this game because I believe a lot of people are going to be on Dallas thinking that they're coming back home, and Golden State's wounded for the fact they don't have their main, player. But that's why I stayed off the side. But everybody knows how I feel about Luka Doncic. Luka's been paying bills, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to tell you, this guy's hit how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 triple doubles in a row with 30+ points. I mean, why would you get off of that? Who cares about who wins this game? Give me Luka Doncic over 33.5 points minus 110. You also can give me over his 10.5 assists minus 126. And you can give me his 35+ points, plus Dallas to win at plus 127, simply because he's hit this number 5 out of his last 7 home games versus the West. And we're going to do it even better, ladies and gentlemen. Triple-double plus 100. Lock it in. Luka's going to be ready to ball tonight. Now, does he cover the spread? I don't know. But I can trust Luka to get his points. I could trust Luka to get his assists, and I could trust Luka to continue to that triple-double. Hey, he may not get it in the streak, but why? We ain't in the business of picking when the streak's going to end. We're in the business of riding the streak while it's hot. So give me all of that, Mike. I'm going to repeat it to you because I know I was going fast. We got Luka. Oh, you got it all?
Oh, yeah, man. You got Luka. You tell it. You're so excited. It's getting me excited. Fire it off.
Hey, Luka, over 33.5 points minus 110. I got over 10.5 assists minus 126. I got 35+ points, Dallas to win, plus 127. And I got Luka's triple-double plus 100. Lock it in. Luka the Don is paying bills tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, you guys know if you watch LJ on the last call here, every time he does these player props and he adds them back to the team at that plus money spot, he's been firing straight bullets. And I love the look. I love the Luka spot there. He's been a man amongst boys out there, and LJ's going deep with Luka today. And he's sprinkling. He's adding that triple-double. Fuck it, why not? He's got the assists. He's got the points, and he likes Dallas to get the job done as well. Yeah, you're right about that spread. It's a big number. But I like that you kind of bought that down there. Give him 35+ points. His point number's at 33.5 anyways. It's a great spot there to get plus money out of it. I like the creativity and finding a way to get the cash. Let's go. I'm going to be rooting on heavily for you. That one's 8:30 start. Let's go late night here. We got 2 10 o'clock games here on the West Coast. Eastern, 10 p.m. West Coast starts here. Atlanta Hawks, Portland Trailblazers. This line open at -2. We've got 86% of the bets, and we're at -3.5. The total opens at 219.5. It's dropping. We got 65% of the bets and 90% of the cash on the under, and it's dropped now 2.5 full points now in this Atlanta and Portland game. LJ, take it away. The floor is yours, my guy.
Yeah, I couldn't get to a side just because Atlanta, they're too wounded. Sadiq Bey has injured his ACL. They don't have Johnson. They don't have Trey. So you're missing 3 key components on your team. Even though it is Portland, I'm not saying that they can't stay with Portland because Portland's a trash team. They're dealing with injuries as well. Their whole starting lineup is pretty much out except DeAndre Ayton and the guy that I'm going to jump on, Anthony Simons. I'm going to take his over 3.5 3-pointers at -104 simply because he's averaging 3.5 threes on the year. He's hit this number 6 out of his last 8 games, including 5 out of his last 6. and he's averaging 9 3-point attempts on this month. So if he's going to put up 9 3-pointers, I got to trust he's going to hit 3 or 4. I'm taking the 3.5 because I believe he will get 4, simply because the last 4 point guards, Trey Murphy for the Pelicans and CJ, both hit 4 plus. Devin Chino for the Knicks hit 5. Who is this? Schroeder had 3, so he was one off. And also one more. Garland had 3, so he was one off. But they're putting up 11 attempts. David Chino had 17 attempts. So they're getting the attempts. They're just not hitting the shots. I believe Anthony Simons can cash these threes because, like I mentioned, he's hit this number 5 out of his last 6 games. And that's how he scores from the 3-point shot. So instead of trying to figure out who's going to win this game, because both these teams are dealing with injuries, let's stick to the guy that's leading the league in points. Leading that team in points with Portland. And we'll trust that he hit his 3-point pop over 3.5 threes, minus 104.
I like it. I like it a lot there. It makes it so much fun. I do have a streak on this Portland side. Home teams on a 3 or greater home game streak are 26-4 when they're off non-conference teams coming off a home game. So good spot there for Portland. I like the Simon spot there over 3.5 threes. And I just got some breaking news here, LJ. Donovan Mitchell will play for Cleveland tonight. So the Cavs are loading up Garland, Mitchell, Okoro, Yang, and Allen out there on Wednesday. They're loaded for bear. That's probably why that number dropped from 7.5 to 5.5 as we were talking about it. So very interesting situation there. This is why I say, I know a lot of guys that are kind of the old hats that cap this stuff. They're like, how can you say the injuries don't matter? Look at the line movement. You didn't need to be told that he was probably going to play based on what's happening with this total number. So, I think it's a great spot. I still like that New Orleans first half, but I'm glad I stayed off the full game. And I like the Simon spot there over 3.5 threes. Let's close it out. We've got the old final bang here. We've got the Lakers and the Sacramento Kings playing off here. Big game out west. We've got a situation with this Lakers game opens plus 2.5, now minus 2.5. That tells me without even looking, AD and LeBron are most likely in. I will look. 77% of the bets, 94% of the cash on the LA Lakers. It's moved 5 full points. We've got 239.5s dropped down to 238.5s. And we've got pros versus Joes on the total, LJ. We've got 59% of the bets on the over, but 69% of the cash on the under. Bigger bets are winning out on this number here, 239.5 to 238.5. Do the Sacramento Kings continue to dominate the LA Lakers, or can the LA Lakers take this little bit of a win streak they've got, back-to-back home wins, Milwaukee and Minnesota on the road, and defeat this Sacramento Kings team that's win one, lose one as of late? What do you think?
I lean heavy to the over. I haven't bet it just because it's the late game, and I want to see how my cash is looking in the earlier games and see if I want to dip into this late game. But I really, really lean to the over. Just because of Sacramento trends to the over at home. The Lakers are 20 and 11 to the over on the road. They've been at home practically this whole month. This is the first time they are leaving the crypto arena in a while. So I don't know how they're going to respond in Sacramento. Sacramento plays them very, very good. Like I said, I think they beat them, like you said, the last 3 times. So are the Lakers going to get swept by this team? Who knows? They shouldn't, and the fact that LeBron and AD are both rested, ready to go, I believe they're going to try to come out and make a statement and possibly try to win this game. But for me, I'm just going to stay off the side for now and the total, but I'm going to stick to what's been cashing, and everybody should know because I'm always shouting it out. LeBron James, over 8.5 assists. We got it at minus 103, simply because he's hit this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his last 8 games. He is the point guard on the team. He loves to find his distributors for us the 3-point shot. He's loved finding players to hit that shot. So I believe LeBron's going to be locked in tonight. He has lost to this team. He's going to want to get some redemption. It's the late game, so we have time, to sit back and analyze it more. But as far as this, I'm taking the over 8.5 assists, minus 103. And I'm also heavy lean to the over, and I might get there eventually before the game start. But like I said, it just depends on how I'm looking earlier with the other games. But I'm making that official. Now, I wanted to throw this in here too because I got Sabonis at 14 plus rebounds. I have it in a parlay. I have an international 3-man parlay, Mikey. I got Luka's points over 33.5. I got Sabonis rebounds 14 plus, and I dropped Jokic's assists to 7 plus. and I got a plus 204 parlay. Simply because Luka leads the league in points, Sabonis leads the league in rebounds, Jokic leads the league at centers at the assist position. All three of those players are playing tonight. Put all three of them on a parlay, and let's get this money, ladies and gentlemen. Luka, Sabonis, and Jokic, three-man parlay, plus 204.
What was the Jokic assist prop?
7 plus.
7 plus assists. And you said plus 204?
Plus 204.
Woohoo! That's gonna make it a lot of fun. I can't wait to see that one go through. You're speaking my language there. I cut a prop because I kind of was intertwining Jokic and Bam out there, but I got to get that out of there. And I'll tell you what, though, I did add. It's a late night ad for me. I'm going to trust the gut here. I'm mad at myself for not doing it last night. Ultimately, I took it. I just couldn't count it for show purposes because I was too chicken shit to give it out, and I'm not tonight. I'm going to go with these Lakers in the spot. I like the line movement. I do see AD is off the injury report. LeBron James is still questionable, but what we have going on here goes back to 2014. When you're off a win, you're a conference away favorite. You got the rest advantage against your opponent. You're 23-7 in those spots, and they're winning by margin. They're 11 points on the win. So it's not just a situation where can we get over this 2.5 here. The fact that they became the favorite isn't steam chasing for me on this one. It's a matter of fact that it triggers this trend to become active for me. Lakers minus 2.5, minus 110 for me. The old late ad for the show here tonight. I'm jumping in on it. Fuck it. I like what I see here. I think it's a great opportunity for the Lakers to go out there and get their revenge and their pound of flesh. So excited about what's rolling on. Kelsey says, wow, I can chat. Of course you can, Kelsey. We appreciate all you guys in the chat hanging out with us. Marcus McCarthy says Mitchell's in. There's our guy, Von Polo. VP's 100 says, I love it. And Real Stoney says, got Murphy over 12.5 points, over 3.5 rebounds at plus 114. Rick J says, AD 0-9 versus Sabonis. Well, that O's got to go tonight, Rick J. LJ, I know you're battling the elements here, and you're off site, but we appreciate you dropping in. Let everyone know what's going on with you, where they can find you. And if you're certainly around tonight, you're more than welcome to jump on the live sweat with us. What's going on in the world of LJ from H-Town, LJ from Goat Town, as he's been dubbed here on last
Hey, man, just making it happen. Working hard, about to fight this traffic because, Houston is big. So I got to fight the traffic. It's an hour home. But, hey, when I get home, I'm definitely going to jump on with y'all tonight with Dabby, Dutch, all about the hoops, locking it down, making some plays. And, hey, maybe we can find some live spots. It's always good that we can make money in 5 live spots because when these lines come out, the line gets better once that game starts. So you can see situations to where, hey, you don't like your first bet, you can always double down and make your money in game. So y'all join tonight on Pub Sports Radio. Follow me on Twitter at LJ Sports Media. All my content is on there as far as what I put out, my plays. So, yeah, Mike, let's get this money tonight, and I will see you in a couple of hours on All About the Hoops, trying to get this cash.
Get it, my guy. LJ, we appreciate you tonight, my guys. Safe travels home. We'll see you later on. Thanks for dropping in with us. LJ from H-Town does it best on Wednesdays. He's our guy. Appreciate everybody rocking in tonight, you guys. Real Stoney's up in the house. Says tennis live odds are perfect. Real Stoney says LJ knows what he's talking about. Oh, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. You wouldn't doubt this guy. His player props are fire. He does nothing but get that cash for us, and he brings the goods. Guy puts his work in, and that's what I can respect more than a lot of folks out there just showing up, turning the camera on and say, let's go. You saw his page of notes there on the screen, and he's off site. So he's traveling with that shit, doing it right out there. Shout out to my guy T on the ones and twos. Speaking of keeping it right, this guy keeps it tight for us, moving along at the right direction. Well-oiled machine that we are here with Last Call. Topping out of this thing tonight. Appreciate everybody rocking on your way out the door. Smash that thumbs up button. Cost you nothing. Helps us a ton. Promote the brand. Grow the show. Build the community. I love what we're doing here with Pub Sports Radio. All you guys not in the green, go out there and subscribe. Become members, $9.99 a month. We got member exclusives. We got virtual horse races twice a week. We're giving out $50 cash with Jimmy the Bag and Cast out there early in the day. You don't have to be present to get the cash, but we got discounts in the merch store as well. Get that swag. Get out that pub rub here. It's barbecue season. Get that done as well. And we got more in the pipeline for everybody there. Member exclusives and galore. We got Public-Palooza next week. Until tomorrow, you guys. Appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight. Good luck with your bets. And you know what we say. Stay pubbing and get that cash, baby.